Wait, do you have it on? Oh. Ah. Hey, welcome to Tea's Tea Time. Have you ever considered how hard of a role it is to be a parent? Our parents are wonderful and great and imperfect people. My goal today is for all of us to be a little bit more forgiving and have more grace for our parents in order to move forward in all of our relationships. Newsflash, our parents are both wonderful and flawed humans, and that's okay. And just as a disclaimer, this is not addressing or condoning experiences with toxic and or abusive parents. You've got to use your own judgment, and if you are in an unsafe situation, seek outside help and determine whether this is the right relationship to remain in, whether it be a friend, family member, or even a parent. But this video is not about that. I'm coming from the perspective of an overall healthy yet complex home dynamic. This is absolutely not a video about bashing our parents. Special shout out to my mama, love ya. This is actually a video about freeing our parents from our own unrealistic expectations of them and overall extending them more grace. I come from such a loving home and family. I was sheltered from a lot. My mom and dad had me in their teens and both had their mothers to help raise me, as well as aunts and uncles. So I was a baby amongst a full tribe of people watching out for me. Although I had a wonderful upbringing, there have been moments where I've noticed within my own family and even amongst my peers and their families that our parents are not perfect. As I've grown, I'm at a place where I'm challenging my own expectations of my parents. I see how many of our parents have their own struggles, mental health challenges, character flaws, made mistakes in life. It's important to really understand and embrace the fact that parents are only human for the purpose of having grace, closure, and knowing how we choose to move forward regardless of the dynamics we have. On one end, this is for the wonderful parents out there who are doing their best. We love you. We appreciate you. You're amazing. Parents, you're worth celebrating. I've learned the most amazing things from my mother and grandmothers, what no one else could teach me. Mothers, you are insightful and wise and just an overall wonderful well of information, but you don't have all the answers, and honestly, you shouldn't be expected to. The weight of life is not on your shoulders, although sometimes it feels that way. This is for the parents to know that you're not expected to be perfect. You're only expected to show up as your best self and pour into us what you can, even when life is difficult. That is your superpower. That is what makes you phenomenal. On the other hand, this is also for everyone else who has a hard time reconciling with the fact that your parent is both wonderful and flawed. The reason this is not healthy is that living in denial sets us up to stay in disappointment when we see how human our parents actually are. When we stay in denial and disappointment, we're unable to extend grace. And when we're unable to extend necessary grace, we hinder ourselves from moving forward and fostering closeness in one of the most beautiful, important relationships in our lives. Reflecting on my own relationship with my parents has helped shape the way I view this challenging role of parenthood. How similar and different my mom and I are, and how this makes our relationship beautiful and unique and so worth it. How similar and different my father and I are, and how our dynamics have shaped my perspective on forgiveness and healing. We can't blame our parents for our own shortcomings. At some point, we have to grow and take accountability for our own choices to either move forward or remain complacent. Blaming our parents doesn't help them or us. We place unrealistic expectations on them to be perfect when the only one who can fill that spot is God. As I consider being a parent one day myself, I think about this, the beauty, the excitement, and the fear that I'll mess up, that my kids will see how terribly flawed I am. And then I come into acceptance, realizing that it's okay, let them see. I'd like to believe that I want my future kids to know that I'm both wonderful and flawed. I don't want them to think that I've always been super mom and that I've never been through anything. I want them to know that I've been through some things and I'm just trying my best, but I'm still standing. I want my kids to know that I'm human and mess up, and that's life. Not only is that life, but that's a part of relationships. People mess up, and that's the beauty of grace and communication and reconciliation and understanding, that counts for every relationship, especially between parents and children. Kids have to see their parents bounce back from human emotions and human shortcomings, because that's how they'll know to bounce back too. Through your vulnerability as a parent, your child is learning a valuable lesson in being an imperfect human that can deal with setbacks and character flaws, tough emotions, and being self-aware enough to know when they're wrong and knowing how to apologize. I was recently speaking with a young mom who told me how she's teaching her young toddler how to identify and manage tough emotions. She shares with her young toddler moments of tearful transparency. When she experienced a moment of grief from losing a loved one, she allowed her child to see her mourning and handling loss. When their family experienced a blessing, and she gratefully wiped away tears, she expressed to her child that these are happy tears. These are minor moments that teach children how to deal with life and see their parents as people. The takeaway here is, parents, you're wonderful, and you don't need to carry the burden of perfection. Your children need you to show up as you, and you are only human, being the best that you can be. But sometimes you're gonna spill the milk. When this happens, acknowledge it and wipe it up. You're still loved, worthy, and appreciated more than you know. To us, looking up at our parents, let's walk in grace and love. In every relationship we have, we need to recognize that we as a whole are all wonderful and flawed. No cancel culture out here. And one day, we may have kids of our own and recognize even more than ever that we're only human. Thank you for watching. Peace and love. Taylah Janese.